Hey everyone, it is a beautiful day to be alive, but it might be slightly worse if you're Ilhan Omar because she just got rocked by President Trump and ICE in Minnesota. We also have Jasmine Crockett here, the leader of the Democratic Party, according to President Trump and others. She just said the unthinkable live on air as she has launched her campaign for Senate seat in Texas. This thing, however, just alienated about half of the country, and I want us to talk about it. So welcome back to the Adam C. Moreno Show. Please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, and let's dive into all this news together. So President Trump sits down with Politico, and he doesn't hold back at all. Here he's talking about Ilhan Omar, her past, and Somalia.
Kind of immigrants that you do want to see in America?
They certainly contribute. Yeah, I want to see people. Yeah, I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, 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 and yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. Somalia, yeah, and I was right about it. I started complaining about Somalia long before the scandal. The horrible things they're doing to Minnesota, it's incredible. They have an incompetent governor there too. The Democrats are running some bad ships.
Speaking of
President Trump says, I don't want to see a woman that marries her brother, becomes a congresswoman, and then does nothing to complain. My goodness, somebody call the police and check on Ilhan Omar because she is not well after that. Also, Ilhan Omar just cannot escape being online, or she can't escape the news cycle because here she is at the center of another story on Newsmax. This time they're not talking about her brother. They're not talking about the Minnesota fraud. This time they're talking about her net worth. That's the main focus. Some speculate it could be as high as $30 million. Talked about this a few days ago, and it looks like Finnerty just talked about it online on his show as well. Check this out.
So we'll ask again, where did Ilhan Omar get all that darn money from? Let's go through it. When she first ran for Congress in 2018, she was married to a Somalian man named Ahmed Nur Said Elmi, and she had a net worth of approximately $65,000. Not a ton of money, but $65,000. By 2020, a whole 2 years later, Ilhan had already divorced and remarried another Somalian man by the name of Ahmed Aladizian Herzi, and her net worth was still right around $65,000. Yet just 4 years later, she was divorced and remarried again for a third or perhaps a fourth time. We don't know for sure because Ilhan Omar likely married her brother at one point to get him into this country illegally when she came here from Somalia, which, by the way, is a federal crime, and she's serving in Congress. And nobody talks about this. So by 2024, Ilhan's married to a new person, a white guy named Tim. There's Tim Minette. And Tim is not a rich man, but now he is. Tim's rich now because somehow over the course of the last 3 years, Ilhan Omar's net worth has skyrocketed to over $30 million and counting, meaning she went from having right around $65,000 to $30 million in 3 years. Think about that. Powerball drawing is tonight. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Ilhan Omar did not win the lottery. Bernie Madoff was cheating, and he still wasn't doing that well. That is a 46,000% increase in less than 3 years. Now,
my goodness, see, no matter what side you're on, money questions matter. Transparency matters. And this timeline is off. We just talked about it yesterday. Their timeline is so messy. It looks like those shows of hoarders. It makes those people look like just the cleanest people in the world because of how messed up all this is. Things aren't adding up cleanly, and everyone knows it. And it is just ridiculous. He's right. We need to be talking about this some more. I saw this from James Woods on X. He says, are we going to do something about Ilhan Omar or just accept that she's another Democrat who has become a massively wealthy multimillionaire as a professional Congress grifter? So it sounds like a really good question. You tell me in the comments. Nancy Mace also goes after Ilhan Omar, again echoing this same point, saying no one is above the law, this time in regards to the incredible amount of fraud that's happening in Minnesota. Speaking of no one being above the law, ICE is in Minnesota, and new footage has been released by Fox showing ring footage of this event. And this comes after ICE has been cracking down on in Minnesota. They just posted this on X saying Minnesota's weather is cloudy with a 100% chance of ice. So they're getting very serious. But now here's the moment that ICE entered a Minnesota home captured on Ring. Check this out.
Shields up and guns drawn, Ring surveillance video shows more than a dozen armed federal agents descending on a Burnsville home on Saturday. A woman who lives there tells Fox 9 multiple Latino people who rent rooms there were arrested by ICE after being followed home from the store. A portion of the video shows one man being taken down in the driveway and another woman running inside to her child. We're told the 4 people taken into custody are now being held in immigration facilities out of state. That includes the parents of a 7-year-old boy.
You shouldn't be rolling around in unmarked vans. People have the right to know who's following them, and you can see there's fear in the people that are getting out of the car in that video.
Former state senator and Lakeville Mayor Matt Little is running to represent this district in Congress. He said he's troubled by what he saw in the video and wants people to know their rights.
They certainly have a right to a hearing. They certainly have a right to a lawyer. They have a right to contact people in their lives that could help them out. You have all these rights, so make sure you're showing up and letting your neighbors know that they have rights.
Now, I did reach out to both DHS and ICE for more information about what exactly happened on Saturday, but I have not heard back from either of them yet. In the wake of this raid, the city of Burnsville did release a statement saying that they are aware of the immigration enforcement activities happening within their city, but that federal authorities, they often don't let local authorities know when these enforcement operations are going down, and that their officers do not check people's immigration statuses. Reporting live tonight, Mary McGuire, Fox.
So I do think videos like this are really important to share because it's one thing to talk about deportation on the air, especially under the Trump administration, but it is another thing to see it live on the ground in action. And I think that's partly why we've seen kind of the memification of our ICE agency as shown in videos like this or in photos like this. It is important, though. You cannot have a strong country without a strong border, as Senator Bernie Sanders likes to say, although he didn't say much during the Biden era. I want to share this photo as well. It was just shared today by the ICE account. It says here illegally, the Deportation Express, right? And it's obviously a play on the Polar Express. But while all that is going on, Jasmine Crockett is out here going mega viral, unfortunately, again, because she stepped onto CNN and she was asked one of the most important questions for her new Senate race, which is how will she win over Trump supporters in Texas? And here is her answer.
How you make voters who previously voted for Trump, particularly given that you have been an outspoken critic and he has inserted himself, just take your campaign video as is. He has inserted himself at every turn when it comes to your commentary. How will you convert those who are supportive of him to voters for you?
Yeah, I don't know that we'll necessarily convert all of Trump supporters. That's not our goal.
Do you need to?
Our goal is to definitely talk to people. No, we don't. We don't need to. Our goal is to make sure that we can engage people that historically have not been talked to, because there's so many people that get ignored, specifically in the state of Texas. Listen, the state of Texas is 61% people of color. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of good folk that we can talk to. We know that when Beto came really close, Beto, who is a progressive, we know that he got 65% of the Latino vote. So what did they do after that? They specifically went after Latinos. We know that he got close to 90% or right there at 90%.
So I don't think it's necessary to continue playing it because you heard her correctly. She said that on national television. How will you win over Trump supporters? She said, I don't know, that's not necessarily our goal. And then the reporter pushed back saying, do you need to? And she's like, no. We don't. We don't need to. On national television, I think this right here is one of those moments that could have been a career-ending, campaign-ending moment. Even the Bulwark is stunned by this. This video has over 1 million views already. So I wish I could say that her campaign is over before it started, but it did start yesterday. But still, a one-day campaign, that would be remarkably impressive to have completely decimated. But even top Democrat influencers like John Favreau are like, what the heck are you doing? He probably wants her to win, right? He's probably going to have her on his show, Pod Save America. But he literally says she needs to win over Trump supporters, and she has no interest in doing that. And I think that's really unfortunate. Okay, you can't represent a community that you simply refuse to acknowledge, especially to this degree, as Jasmine Crockett just shared with all of us. But that's what I think. All right. And I'd love to know what you think about this in the comments section. Tell me what you think about President Trump just body slamming Ilhan Omar live with Politico. Tell me how you feel about Finnerty just taking some jabs at her as he is explaining her impossible net worth. I mean, $30 million. Are you kidding me? That is just completely unjustifiable by any stretch of the imagination. And let me know how you feel about Jasmine Crockett as we were on day 2 of covering her campaign. All right, so very, very interesting stuff happening in the news cycle, and I'm excited to know what you think about all this. And hey, if you made it this far, please like, subscribe, turn on the bell, because come on, if you made it this far, that means you like videos like this. All right, and you'll probably like the next one. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Merry Christmas. Hope you had the best day, and thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.